Okay, so tonight is Tuesday, July 18th, is it? What's the date?
Yes.
Tuesday, July 18th, and this is our team call. We have our coaches who just came back from Summit in New Orleans who are going to share with us all of the great things that they learned and their awesome takeaways and really pour into us what they felt and heard and learned while they were at Summit. So we have Crystal, Inga, and a video from Amy Greaves. And we're going to start with Crystal. She's going to share with us, spend a little bit of time giving us all of her takeaways from the awesome conference summit in New Orleans last week. So Crystal, you can go ahead and take it away.
So I will just get into business first and then talk about, how I felt about it after.
Yeah, that's
just interest of time. So if you could see on my screen here, I'll try to get it a little bit closer. This is kind of a timeline that they created. And very beginning is Beachbody On Demand All Access, which was launched in January. So they talked a lot about how the company, I guess, and these are things I didn't understand or even know about, had a period where the growth kind of plateaued and they needed to change somehow. And that's what brought on the Beachbody On Demand. And now it seems like they're really geared towards family fitness. So that is this new product over here where my finger is called Daily Sunshine. So that's scheduled to launch in July. And Tony Horton has a new video called Double Time, which is scheduled to launch in November. So that's a partner WOD, like a workout with a partner. And it's really supposed to be geared towards mother, father, son, daughter. So family and child. So it's a way to kind of incorporate the children of working out instead of sitting there watching you or occasionally working out. It is a family workout. And it could just be with a husband-wife type of thing. So they did some demonstrations with Tony and Carl passing the ball to each other, things like that. So it does appear that it will be one of those workouts where you need to buy this blue ball. So it looks like a lot of the workouts are geared using this ball, which is kind of like a bouncy ball, if you will, something that you probably be holding a lot to do arms and these movements. So and then they talk about here in April where the vegan Shakeology cafe latte and vanilla flavors were launched. This is, I forget his name. Anybody could chime in. I think Leonardo, his UV2, and then Sean Week, of course, Chris Downing Shift Shop, which was huge. And this is the new Daily Sunshine. So from my computer, I could probably play some of the videos that I wasn't able to share with Nicole because Messenger caps it, I think, if it's over 2 minutes. So, if we create some type of group or in the group I can post, I just didn't want to kind of just throw in a lot of information all at once. So those are some ideas. So what the other thing they talked about is the new coach office. So this isn't the best slide to show you what's new, but it's very picture friendly and just upgraded. And they talked about how it's not very user friendly right now at all. So and it will be in different languages as well, English and Spanish and French. So sorry if you can hear my phone.
That's awesome.
So these are really some slides. So I don't know how much we were going to go over some of this stuff, and Inga probably has some of this. So basically some of the days for 3 hours, we listened to 6 sessions that were 30 minutes each about different topics. And like other conferences I've gone to, you get to pick a track you want to be on, but once you're on that track, you don't have the ability to go onto another pathway, if you will. But how this was different, if those speakers spoke in one room and then they had their same lecture in another room and then in another room. So no matter which room you chose, you kind of heard at least 3 of the 6. Everybody heard like the same 3, which I thought was interesting because you kind of wanted to make sure you chose the right one, but I guess that's not necessary. They make sure you're hearing, and it's mainly the top 10 elite coaches speaking, which makes sense, right? And they each had different topics. So about inviting and social media, challenge groups. So never did anybody really talk about the business in terms of like the home office and things like that. But, I think that's in other areas. They talked about different behind the scenes inviting. So these are all the slides I can post somewhere because it's going to be hard to even see or read this right now.
Yeah, if you have screenshots of them, you can go ahead and create a folder, or create I don't know if you can create an album in a group. You probably can, but you could just post them on our team page.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. This one was pretty amazing because this is a picture of the room that we were sitting in, and I don't think these people even knew what was happening. So this is probably when I lost it the first time crying. So I was like, the one thing nobody said to pack was tissues. So
sorry, I forgot to tell you that.
They had everybody in the room stand up and then sit down as you lost weight, 5 pounds, 10 pounds. And after 100 pounds, these people were still standing. So they had them walk on the stage, but they were, this picture is now probably like 120 pounds each. They then walked off the stage and they each took the mic and kind of shared their story a little bit, and they were crying, and then everybody was crying. It was just crazy. Yeah. So yeah, that was crazy.
It's amazing that they do that. They did it last year too. It's so crazy. Like there's not a dry eye in the room.
No, I know. This is a picture of Inga and I around, I don't know, 5:45 a.m. And, this was Saturday morning. So Friday night, it was like we didn't have very many nights. So we wanted to go out. I think we went to bed at 2. I know we went to bed at 2 and woke up at 5.
You went out before the super workout. I love it.
Yes. So that we had 3 hours of sleep.
That's awesome.
I was like, Jesus. And we worked out for an hour and a half.
Yep.
So, of course, being the new kid, I was like, can we please go closer, closer, closer? And Inga was like, whatever you want. So we just kept, we got up there, and since there was the 2 of us and we didn't have like matching tank tops like everybody else, it worked out. So we were like, maybe, would you say like 25 people back, Inga? Like 25 rows back from the front. So we were very close. And in fact, like Jason Fryer and her team were behind us. So we ended up seeing a lot of other Connecticut coaches. And
that's cool.
But people do really travel in packs there, I've learned. It's like holy girl power.
Yeah.
It was a little like too much for me. They like everything is the same. All their shirts were the same. Even on the fancy night, all their dresses were the same color theme for pictures. Mm-hmm. I was like thinking it was like sorority sister back to that deal. So I was like, but it is what it is. Like you could see all these girls here have the same shirts on. Like this was the gray section. So some of it looks cool from some of the videos. And then this is me turning around, getting a visual of the back. Apparently last year when it was in Nashville, it was kind of on an incline or a decline. Yeah. So they could see a video. So I couldn't see that. So
I would like to match.
I know. We also got to hear Darren Hardy speak. Those 2 were awesome. So it was Brendan Bouchard, maybe you say his last name,
yeah.
And Darren Hardy speak. So that was like pretty awesome.
Like world class, like that is amazing to get both of them for a conference, and then to add Shalene into it. It's like a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I said I forget Inga and Amy, I was like, for the price of Summit, could you imagine how much it would have cost to hear them speak somewhere?
Yeah.
Like,
amazing.
That's crazy.
Yeah. This is a picture I took myself, not off of Facebook. So I also, after our first night there, or excuse me, our first night there, we sat like way up there. way up here. I have a picture from that view. And then I was like, gee, I wonder how we get down to the bottom. So the second day I saw people going in the bottom and I was like, it's worth a shot. It could be VIP, but up here was VIP and special guests. Actually, as soon as you see the white chair,
Yeah.
and all these, anybody could sit in. But I don't think people knew that. So we went down and we were able to sit like right here. And then for the closing night, we sat right there.
Nice.
We were right behind the elite and the VIP because it just like means so much more when you're not distracted by the people who are on their phones. And back top are all concessions. So there was like a lot of chatty people. It's like, how are you not listening?
Yeah.
So I thought, let's just go to the front row so we can be in the moment. So that picture was pretty cool. Then there's a lot of things here. I took pictures of if anybody needs this for, they talked a lot about Team Cup, a lot. So that's starting. Daily Sunshine, that's the new talk, the new shake for kids.
Yep.
This is Double Time. And you see the blue ball?
Yeah.
He has it in his hand.
Yeah.
I have a feeling you're going to need to buy the ball.
Yep.
So they have the ball. And then I was saying to Inga or Amy, I don't remember, probably both, I feel like a lot of their workouts now have something you need to buy.
Mhm.
So whether it's the agility markers. I forgot her name. She's new as a Beachbody coach.
She's the
Inga,
one-
I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name.
She won the
So she has,
contest, the 20
Okay.
contest. We lose
Did we
body.
lose you, Kristen?
I think we lost her.
oh,
You there?
There we go.
oh,
Okay. We lost your voice for a second.
okay, hold on a second. I just got the battery warning. Okay. How about now?
Yeah, you're good.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I'm hiding in my bedroom. So what I can say about Clean Week, what I kind of gathered from it, maybe Inga could touch on it more, was that you get a 7 days, it's 7 days, and you get 7-day free trial to Beachbody On Demand. So that's something new that they're trying to do, another way to try to get people into it. This is more talking about recruiting, things like this. So these are slides I can put in there, and my notes are just kind of scribbly. This looks a lot better. Some of these. This one was kind of cool. It was like, it says 30 a day, but it's really not just selling the product. It's about making 5 new friends,
Mhm.
5 follow-ups, and 5 gratitudes. And they talked a lot about just, saying nice things to people to get a conversation started and never really throwing out anything about Beachbody.
Mhm.
So 5 coaches a day, that's a lot, but they definitely have big goals.
Yep.
I think that might be the end of those slides in that section. Yeah. Other thing. So I could talk a little bit about how I felt being there, and you want me to talk about that a little bit? So we did the instructor training on Tuesday or Wednesday. Wednesday maybe.
Yeah, Wednesday.
So that was a lot. That was an 8-hour training. Let me turn the camera. And I wasn't expecting, I guess I was expecting, but I would explain to people how to do it a little differently next time. So they really wanted people to print out this 45-page what's it called, manual of the whole workout. So I didn't actually print it out, so that was a mistake, but I brought my laptop with me, which had all the slides, so I was able to look at that. So if anybody's ever taken an instructor class, what they do is you do the entire class, so the 45-minute workout, then you break up into sections, a team of 4. So there's 800 people in the room, so it's very busy. And I have a picture of the room too, so you could appreciate what it was like. So we knew what group we were going into prior to going to the training. They created closed Facebook groups for each of us. So I would ask Amy, what group are you in? And I'm in this group. We weren't in the same groups, which is kind of good. So we meet new people and everything. And so you into the group, you're in this group of 4 and you do the rounds. So then I'm teaching the other 3. So they were having us teach and we were all so nervous. We're like, what the hell? We're not ready for this. But it was like, just do it. And they took our camera, our cell phone video, and took a video of us. So we have it with us so we can kind of learn from that. Then they have you sit down, but the whole thing was on concrete. So you're now sitting on the concrete floor, watching the slides, and they teach you all about music cues. So they play just the music so you understand what to do with the music. So I was like, that, I wasn't even expecting that. It was different. And then a lot about how you introduce yourself, like in this beginning of the class, and all about what they call Pro Team. So PROTEAM. And that is a membership you pay for. It's $30 a month, and that's how you get these new live instructional classes to teach. So you're not repeating the DVDs that you would take on Core de Force. You're getting new workouts with music. So if you joined then, it was like you got a water bottle. And so I joined because they said if you don't join Pro Team within 12 months, you have to retrain. You have to do the whole certification over.
Gosh.
So I was like, shit. I either do it now or decide to start in 6 months and forget everything I learned.
Right.
So I had posted while I was traveling that I was taking this course. And this girl whose husband owns a karate studio that my kids went to, she said, they just built a second room and my husband would love to have you teach here. Can you let us know more about it? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I was nervous. I was like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing yet. I'm only going to the training. And then we had a coffee break. I was talking to this couple, like a power couple, you could tell, from Long Island. And they're like, where are you from? And a lot of people have these fit, #fit something like NG. I need to look it up. But he said to me, we do fit clubs. And I was like thinking about Amy, and I was like, oh boy, I was like, where do you do them? They said, we do them at libraries, outside, anywhere. And I was telling them how I got this message on the way down that I had the opportunity to teach. And he's like, you just got something that probably 700 people in this class are looking for. He's like, you have to jump on that. He's like, that's what people need, an opportunity. So I was like, God, maybe you're right. So I'm going to wrap up, everything I learned and try to explain it to them, maybe by showing them the video I have so they could kind of understand it, or one of the Core de Force videos. Like, there's a lot of videos about it so they could kind of understand it. So, yeah, who knows? So that was about that day.
That's so
I'm trying to think how else it went. So it was a long day. So we had about 4 hours of working out of the 8 hours. It was like, holy shit. So, I'm glad I brought some granola bars and stuff, but there's not much time. And with 800 people, when the door opens and it's time to get lunch, it's like you have 45 minutes. And, of course, Core was open, and that's the shop. I didn't even understand what Core was. So people want to run there, and it's like, what do you can have one choice: pee, eat, or go to the Core. So, I ran and got a salad really quick, and then made sure I tried to find Amy so we would at least know where we were. So yeah, so that was the instruction class. Other than that, the opening ceremony was great. That's the day that they gave all that information, all the slides I talked about. So it was really not to hook you, but to get you motivated, and then tell you about Daily Sunshine, which they sold at the Core. So, but what they did, I didn't realize this. I should have just asked Amy, but she bought some. She bought packets. So it was the $5 a packet, like sold in maybe 4. So she bought some to then have samples, and she wouldn't have to pay for shipping. So that was a good idea. But it's very jam-packed and busy, and I've never been to one before, so I wouldn't even know about distance. But, I mean, Inga, what would you say the mileage was of walking from convention to Superdome? So in our hotel was somewhere in between.
I think those two are 2 miles apart.
Yeah. So
maybe over.
Yeah, we should Google map it. So there were days where morning was at one and then afternoon was at the other, and we walked because we're like, we had 2 hours. At some point we had to eat and then walk. So it was like, you can Uber, but why? So, I mean, we walked 20,000 steps every day. So we did a lot of walking. So sneakers are a must. Even with the sneakers and all the working out, I still have a blister on my like the ball of my foot. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I mean, I could talk a lot about it, but I don't want to take up Inga's time because it's already 9.
How did it make you, were there any light bulbs about this opportunity for you? Did it change your perspective at all, like in a general sense?
I mean, it honestly it made me believe that it's more of a real company. Not that I didn't think it was, but the amount of buy-in that they get even with the 2 speakers that they had, and all of the people who created this huge fan club. They all of them have fans, and they say they're not famous, but you could just see. And some people are. I don't know. You could tell it's kind of gone to their head, but then some people are just straight up normal. Like they're still very humble. So I saw a lot of different variations. So I saw people that were very open and nice and wanting to meet you. And then I had people on my flight that heard me talking to the lady next to me about Beachbody, and they were both going because I saw the Summit app on her phone. And they didn't turn around and say a word to me, although I could have tried to start my conversation with her, but I was like, let me lay low. But everybody is very proud of their swag that they wear. Is that what you call it? So even yesterday in the airport, I was dressed in my regular clothes, but there were still people in spandex and everything you could think of. And I was thinking, I understand that it's an opportunity for somebody else to talk to, and there's so many people there that aren't Beachbody coaches, but I just wasn't feeling it anymore. So, not that it died, but I was just like, enough already, And in fact, I did find myself still talking about Beachbody. There's ways to talk about it, and you don't need to wear a Shakeology hat.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, like the guy yesterday, he asked me how much data it takes up. I was like, geez, nobody's ever asked me that.
That's a really
Who knows?
Good question.
Yeah, because I was saying this to somebody today when I sit at the airport. I always kind of look for a military person and sit next to them because I just feel like they got this. Like if there's something going down, they're the right person to sit next to. And I saw his army boots hung together underneath his feet. So we start talking about Coast Guard and this and that, and because he's like, well, what do you do when you're in an area where you have no Wi-Fi? I was like, so I'll have to figure that out. No, but it made me understand that it's not something you just decide to do and then not continue. Like you have to continue. They always refer to it. A lot of them was like running a marathon. Like you have to continuously train and continuously put in the time. Yeah. I don't think you can just drop pieces here and there. No, I don't know if you heard Chalene talk, but she talked a lot about not throwing in Beachbody into your post, hardly ever. So she said she would talk to Carl or Michael or somebody about what she wanted to say, and they probably won't like it. But she said at first, don't say very much. Like, let people inquire a little. Say something to get them into it, and then take it offline. Don't answer the question so everybody else can see and shut it down. Those long posts that say everything about it, she says, just close the deal for those people who aren't willing to ask, you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different perspectives. She's like, stop taking the picture with the bottle here, and like, oh, this is what I sell. So,
Well, I think a lot of times, and I've said it before, Beachbody puts millions of dollars into their own marketing and their own advertisements and their own infomercials. And we don't really need to do that for them. What we need to do is create a following for ourselves so that people know what you're doing to create success for yourself. And it's more
I got to plug it
more about making people trust you than it is them trusting Beachbody. Like, first they have to trust you because you're the catalyst to their, the products. So yeah, I mean, Shaleen's like the ultimate marketer, especially on social media. So I 100% trust the tips that she gives and the things that she says.
Right, and I never knew that that's what she does for a real business. Like, that's her job. So, and a lot of these successful coaches have degrees, have had other careers first. So, I have a lot of respect for them. And so, okay.
Thank you so much, Crystal. I appreciate everything. Inga, you're
All right. That was awesome, Crystal. I'm glad we let her go first because she went through all the business stuff and I wasn't gonna.
Okay.
So it was, first of all, I thought it was awesome to go with Crystal as somebody who was going for her first time, and being part of, guiding her through that was a lot of fun for me and made it, even more exciting because she wanted to do things that I sometimes am a little bit shyer when it comes to like going up front and this. So I just kind of was like, all right, I'm in. And I kind of followed her and I really liked that. And I'll come back to my roommates after, but I just kind of wrote down some of the key things that stood out to me. And so one of the things was, and they're just quotes, was accept who you are and help others. So just stop, right? And accept who you are, figure out who you are. And when you help others, you're just going to start to elevate yourself. And that just really stuck with me. And I liked that a lot. The other one was successful people lift each other up and insecure people bring them down. And it makes you really think about who you surround yourself with. Yeah. And you really should surround yourself with successful people, and people who aren't insecure, because they can kind of be an anchor in your life. And so you got to, kind of look at that. And I really appreciated that. This one was good. And it kind of goes to what I do in my, my day job, is track what you want to grow. And so, there's a saying out there that which you want to improve, you must track. So that hit, I'm like, all right, I got to start tracking stuff. I could get myself on Team Z and really start working this business. And I think the summit was really re-energizing for me, because I kind of fell off a little bit, and now I'm just trying to get my mojo back. Let's see. I had this written down, and I think this was from my own, was this business could take me where I want to go. Number one, my family deserves the best of me, not the leftovers. And I feel like that's what they're getting a lot of times. And that really bothers me. And then the second piece to that is, again, I'm getting upset, to be a present mom. Aww. And so I know that if I could make this work, I could change some things for us. And I know I can, so I just got to do it. So that's just within my own self.
I feel the same.
And what's that?
I feel the same.
Thank you. Yep. And then, okay, I like this one too. Life comes down to choices. And to go further with that, I think this was Darren Hardy that was talking about this, that the little choices in life will kill you. And so he went on to say, okay, you break that down further, right? You know, oh, I'm going to have the fries. Oh, I'm going to have the hamburger. But if you could see like what it did, you know, 30 years out, you may not make that small choice then, you know, the choice to smoke a cigarette. And then, you know, what does it look like 30 years down the road? You might not have any type of symptoms until 30 years later. So I kind of like that, kind of really brought, you know, what we're doing to the forefront in making choices and changing those little choices, and they do make a big impact. I wrote down tears and tears, because I think when we were talking about this is that almost everybody that spoke had been through some sort of adversity. I think we cried so much, it was crazy. So it just realized that these people are real people and have not necessarily had the best lives. Even, you know, Brendan and Darren really shared, you know, their stories, and they've really done well for themselves. Maybe not be Beachbody, but to show, you know, you can just really do well. And some of these coaches that spoke were just, they were all awesome. Shalene, I wrote down about that. What we were used to do was attraction marketing, which was, you know, using the Beachbody stuff. And she said, don't even put like the name of the workouts that you're doing. So like Core de Force, don't put that in there. What's happening, she says, is that it's not, they may be actually dropping your posts and people may not even be seeing them because they're finding them as advertisements. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
And so yeah. And so that's completely different. I need to completely change the way I do stuff. And so they call it curiosity marketing now. So like Crystal was saying, you want to kind of be vague, kind of, you know, be mysterious so that people will ask the questions. And her kind of rhyme for this was, likes wear thin and questions win. So you don't want more likes. You really want people to be engaged. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I liked this. I can't remember who said it. It might have been Darren. That he said, you don't have to be outstanding to stand out. Just stand out and you will be successful. So, you know, it kind of goes back to like the 10X rule. Just go, 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 and be that person that, you know, people flock to. I just had give back and love it. What else do I have? Oh, I went to the Beachbody Classic, which I had wanted to go last year, but we had our Shred Nation dinner, Nicole, so I couldn't go to it. So I went to the Beachbody Classic, and I didn't know what to expect. But there was over 200 contestants, all shapes and sizes, which was really wonderful because you could see that these people were so super, you know, they put their heart and soul to go out there on stage, and may not been in the most comfortable stage of their life, but they did it. Mm-hmm. And it was so inspiring to see that.
Oh my God. It gives me chills to think of people so brave.
It was. And that, I know, and we were crying at that when I went by myself, but I sat with some other coaches that I met. They were awesome. And there was that, I think that auditorium held 3,000 people, and it was almost full. So I was there. Yeah. So they were walking out in front of a lot of people.
Wow.
So it was really inspiring, and Sigi was there, and I love Body Beast. So it was, the girls asked me afterwards, you know, the top 3 winners for the girls and the guys, you know, what programs did they ask them what programs they did, and every one of them said Body Beast, and one of them said Body Beast and T25. So it was kind of interesting, and I'm really excited on the Surge tomorrow night. they're making an announcement that has to do with the Beast. And so I'm waiting to make my plans until I hear what that announcement is, because they've talked about it like every chance that they had.
Wonder if it's going to be like Lady Beast or something.
I don't know. He said that it has something to do with what we've been asking for. And so I was trying to like rack my brain.
It's like a no-brainer to me. Like, because a lot of women are a little intimidated by Body Beast because it's so manly. And it might have been last year when we were at Summit that there was, the new I can't even remember what workout was being announced, but everyone was like, oh, I hope it's Lady Beast. So I don't know, maybe
his wife.
Yeah, maybe Barbie will be like leading it, or the two of them together.
That'd be great. He's awesome. So I'm really looking forward to knowing what that announcement is. So no, that's out there. But that's like what I had for takeaways, like that things that I just pulled out of my notes that really stood out to me. I have tons of notes that I need to kind of really dig back into.
Yeah.
But overall, it was an awesome experience. I was definitely going in with two other ladies that I didn't know all that well. And last year's experience with my roommates was awesome. So I wasn't sure would I ever have that same experience, and absolutely did. They were awesome, very easy to get along with. And I loved both. We all had very different personalities, and I wrote down a couple of the things that I thought, were great about each one of them. And so for Amy Greaves, I wrote that she has lots of energies. She's a take charge type of lady. She's super funny. She's a hardworking business lady, and she's an awesome mom. Loved her, had a ball. And then Miss Crystal, I wrote down, first of all, it was her first time going to Summit. Amy was definitely the veteran. And Crystal was super funny. We laughed a lot. And me and Amy started calling her the Asker, because this girl will ask anybody anything and does it well. And it was awesome. Both of them will talk to anybody, which I completely admired. And Crystal's a techie. If you have a question about something, she'll be like, oh, wait, here, give me your phone. This is how you do that. Oh, and so I learned so many things from her and Amy this trip. I also wrote that Crystal's a great mama. Both of them are high energy, and they'll talk to anyone. And it was just a ball. That's awesome. I think that, a lot of times what happens with me, and, I get up early, I go to bed early. I did not. I was out late with these girls. We had a fun time. The energy just was contagious. So I appreciated that. And it really helped me have a good time.
Oh, I'm so glad. That's really awesome. I'm so happy. Everything you said about each of them, I see too. That's awesome. Yay. Hold on, I'm going to unmute you.
Where's my,
Did you have as much fun with them, Crystal?
Yes, I was thinking I should have got my little journal where I did quotes, but Inga touched on a lot of them.
But there's really nothing like those few days that you spend with people on your team and get to know them better, and it just builds like such a close bond when you go through the trainings together and you're learning together, but you're also having fun together. So I love.
Yeah, we got to meet Rob and Chelsea and take some group pictures. And
were they in Louisiana?
Inga, we're here.
Oh.
And Amy knew a lot more people in the group, so like people like knew her, recognized her and stuff. But it was nice to kind of see everybody.
Yeah, you got to see people in person I loved that part of it. Meeting the people that you're friends with on Facebook, like that you've never seen in person.
Right.
It's awesome. All right, I'm going to find Amy Greaves' video. Hold on one sec. I know I have it. I'm going to share my screen.
Can you hear me for a second while you're looking for that?
Yeah.
So one of the things about being in the Superdome, the last day I got to walk around and I got lost, and I went back to the Roosevelt, Inga, and I looked at the gift shop and I read this book. Like, I sat there for about 20 minutes trying to find out more of the history, because I was like, I'm leaving. I want to like go home knowing more. And it talked about how everybody from Katrina was in the Superdome where we were. Like,
Yeah.
that's where they were for refuge. And here we are sitting here with like fancy dresses on, and they overcame so much. So I thought to myself, like, how cool that we're in a place that overcame this crazy disaster and they rebuilt. So it kind of made me get like a big picture out of it.
Yeah, and that's funny. I was thinking that when I was there, when we went down, because when we were on the floor and we went down into those old bathrooms, I was like, there's so much, like, almost you could feel, at least I did, I could feel like that energy of, just brought me back to going, there's so many people were living here, just trying to, it was not a good situation. And so it really hit me when I was there, but that's one thing that I wish that we had gotten a little bit more history, even past like Katrina. I'm going to take time to, learn more about the French Quarter and the different areas, because I don't know much about the area.
Right.
That's cool.
Did you find it?
Yep.
Okay, you can mute me again if you want, or I could do it.
You guys see that? Just give me a thumbs up.
Yep.
Hey guys, it's Amy. I'm coming to you from Epcot. It is hot as heck. I'm in Italy, and I know that Nicole wanted to have us share our stories from Summit. So I wanted to first let you guys know that this was my third Summit, and I really feel like the third time is a charm. And here's why. Things just clicked for me this time around, and I think that's because I went into it with a mindset of really like, I need to get something major out of this. My business has been at its lowest that it's ever been, and I know why, but I think I needed to go there to figure out how to solve that solution. And one of the biggest takeaways for me was that I am my biggest hurdle. That's what I figured out. I'm my biggest hurdle. I am the problem, but I am also my solution. And by that I mean I'm not giving it my all. I am using too many excuses, too many frustrations, and that is causing me to kind of just get to the point where I'm like, F it. And that's not good. And I know that, but I can talk a good game, and then when it comes time to implement that game, I tend to not do what I need to do. And sitting there and listening to these stories made me realize that we all have our own problems. We all have our own issues. We all have our own hurdles to cross. And it's what we do with that that makes us successful. So my biggest takeaway was that if I continue down this path, I am never, ever going to help another person, because I'm afraid of reaching out, because I'm afraid of the no. I shouldn't say I'm afraid of the no. That's not true. I'm not afraid of the no. The no actually pisses me off. That's what it does to me. I'm like, or the no answers, that pisses me off. And so I get mad, and I don't want to do it again. Because I'm kind of like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, why don't you want to respond? Or why wouldn't you want to get happy and healthy? And what I need to realize is who I was when I first was introduced this opportunity by Nicole. I was pretty much the same way. So I need to go back to my roots, go back to where I was, and realize that even when I started in this business, I was my biggest hurdle. I didn't even want to try Shakeology. I didn't even want to try 21 Day Fix. For Christ's sake, I didn't even open it up. So that was the biggest takeaway I learned, that if I am my biggest hurdle, I need to go back and figure out how to make those connections be more real. And when they don't respond or they respond no, smile and move on and say they're not ready. They're just not ready, and not take it so personally. The second thing I learned, and what is my biggest takeaway, which I knew, but hearing again these stories made me realize, okay, Amy, you need to get your shit together. And that was, sorry Nicole, but I'm going to talk from the heart. But here's the deal. I'm not consistent. And I let way too many excuses get in the way of the consistency. And coming and listening at Summit to some of these stories about people who, from the Beachbody Challengers, to be perfectly honest with you, like how consistent these guys were and determined they were to be successful amazed me. And these weren't even, they're coaches now, but they were up on stage for their transformation. Or listening to people talk about like major life changes and deaths in their family, where we would all be in complete and utter despair. And some of them even talked about that they filled out their coach cancellation form, but they realized like that was the one thing that made them happy. And that's the funny thing, is that one thing that makes me happy is this business. Like I truly enjoy it. I feel like I'm in my element when I am helping someone or giving advice or talking about our programs and our products and what they've done for me and what they've done for others. But if I'm not consistently doing that, I can't expect to be successful. And I'm not consistently doing it. I have great months and I have bad months. And that shows in where my business is at right now. I know where I was 3 years ago, and I'm certainly not where I am now. And every time I get into the groove, it's not luck that got me in the groove. It's not luck. It was I was consistent, and I pushed on when I got those no's. And I pushed on when I didn't want to or when I was tired. And I know what has been happening is life has been getting in the way. It's really hard to balance it all. And I don't have a set schedule. I don't have a set rhythm. And it's really hard for me in the summer to have that set rhythm. So going back and being more consistent and really waking up, and my goal is to read Miracle Morning, by the way, and set a plan that is going to keep me successful in the summer, is going to keep me successful in the fall, winter, and spring, so that I can build those behaviors like all these people talked about. It's all they talked about was it was consistent. They consistently follow the power hour. They consistently follow the vital behaviors. And that's how they ended up being where they are today. My third biggest takeaway is, wow. I think the third biggest takeaway is that this company is ever changing. And what I realize is that they really are here for the long haul, and they really are trying to do everything and anything to end the trend of obesity. And I know I kind of sound like a little corny here, but I really felt that vibe. I really felt Carl's message and the messages of others of like, really, truly, deep down, it's really about living a healthy lifestyle and what we're surrounded by and with, and how so many people don't know that there are solutions. And so many people are so scared of what can happen to them that it almost paralyzes them. And that it truly is our job to reach more people. And it's not being blunt or rude or, like, hey, you might want to try this. It's really truly being that product of the product and building those connections so that someone feels safe in asking you for help. Or when you offer that help, that they trust you to do that. And I found that with all the new programs that are coming out. The Sunshine, like Hello Sunshine, like how amazing is that? Like for me, who does her best to feed her kids healthy, I thought that was the most amazing product for Beachbody to come out with, because my kids heat in the morning, they're on the go, or for soccer practice. How it's just crazy to me how they come up with these things. They know, they're listening. They are listening. Guys, I've been a teacher for 17 years. I have yet to be in a district that actually did listen to their teachers, and they took the advice that we were asking, and they took our advice. And this company is listening to their leaders. They're listening to us and hearing, and they're paying attention themselves. Double time coming? I mean, everybody wants to work out. And not everybody, that's not true, but most people will say, well, I don't want to leave my kids, or I want to get my husband involved, or my neighbor wants to help, and then, enter double time. I mean, I just find it crazy that they came up with the 7-day challenge. I mean, they are listening. It's not all about the money. How awesome is that 7-day challenge? Really paying attention to our clients and our clients' needs and their fear of getting wrapped into something they didn't want to do. That shows me that we're in the right place at the right time, and it's up to us to get those tools, use that, and apply that. It's literally right here, guys. It's right in the palm of our hands, and we are the ones that have to execute it. Last but not least, I need to say this. We have an amazing team, and I don't think we utilize it that much, or as much maybe as we should. I think we all know it. I think we all know we have a strong team, and I'm talking from Christine Dwyer all the way down. We have some incredible coaches, and right here in our Team Tout Determination, we have some amazing coaches. They might not be shining star diamonds. They have some great lessons for us and some wealth of knowledge. And I learned that this weekend, past weekend when I was with Crystal. Amazing wealth of knowledge. But what I love about her is that she's always willing to ask the question. Anything we needed, she would just stop and ask that person on the street. And guess what? Every single time she got the answer. Imagine what that chickie is going to do with her business by stopping and asking and stopping and asking. Inga, I am blown away by your knowledge of nutrition and supplements and healthy well-being and really alternative health. And that's what a lot of people are very into, and you've been on that path for quite some time. And it shows. It shows in your glow and how happy you are in your transformation. And those are the people that we need to hit up. I mean, we have plenty of people on here that have their own strengths and talents, and we need to talk to people and figure out who has those talents and use them when we get stuck in helping a client. I am so grateful that I was able to go to Summit. I'm so grateful that my husband supports me in this. My kids are back there eating gelato. God only knows what beer Mark is on in Italy. But I wanted to sneak it in. I wanted to share this with you guys because for me this is changing. And I shared my goals on one of the team pages, and I can do that here as well. But my goal is to hit Success Club 5 every single month. I want to make it for a year, because that means that I'm helping people daily and that I'm reaching out daily, and it's a proof that I'm following my vital behaviors, and it's a proof that I want to pay it forward and help others. That is my goal right now. That is my major goal, is SC5 every single month for a year. I want to walk that stage as a 1-star diamond next summit. Those are my goals. I love for you guys to hold me to it in any way, shape, or form you can, because I move by motivation and accountability, just like our challengers. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm sorry for all the distractions and probably the sweat pouring off of me, but I wanted to get that out to you guys. And if you have any questions that you want to ask me, please hit me up, text me, or message me, and I'd be happy to answer anything or clarify anything. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Bye.
That was awesome. I love everything she said. Not mostly, because so many of the things she said really touched me and made me want to be there even more. Part about the company being ever changing. I worked at the Gap for 12 years. I ran stores for them. And the Gap in the 90s was the bomb. It was the jam. Everybody wanted Gap clothes. And we were a successful company. We had conferences like Summit in Vegas and California and Florida. And it was just an amazing time to be part of that company. But the Gap, I believe, made some wrong moves and sometimes didn't make some moves that they probably should have. And they didn't realize that to be successful, you have to continue evolving all the time. And what I love about Beachbody is that Beachbody constantly evolves and constantly looks for ways to better themselves, ways to help people more. And, you know, when I was talking to Crystal before Summit, I said one thing that I would never miss is to hear Carl Daikeler speak. Because Carl Daikeler, you know, you can look at this company and it's got the name Beachbody, and you can take away whatever you want from that name, that, you know, it's a little cheesy, that they have, that's the company with all the infomercials. And yes, sometimes if you don't know who Carl Daikeler is, sometimes you may think that it's a sort of kitschy sort of company that is you know, selling workouts and whatever, and that's all they really do. You listen to Carl Daikeler speak for 15 minutes and you start to realize that he's the real deal and that he truly speaks from his heart and truly speaks in a way that you know why he's in this. And it's a business, and yes, you're making money. We all want to make money and all want to live great lives, but he's really invested in stopping the trend of obesity. And it's an amazing, amazing company, and he's a great leader. So I really believe that everything that Beachbody does, every time we have a conference, every time that there's a Super Saturday, or every time that, you know, there's a surge, there's always a big announcement of something. They've always got something they're pulling out of their hat. And whether it's a week with Shaun T, or whether it's a new Tony Horton or a new shake for kids, it's like, what more can you do? And there's always more that they can do for people's health and fitness. And I just love that investment that they have in product development. And like Amy said, listening to the coaches who are on the front lines, and we're the ones that are telling them, you know, what our customers are asking for, and they're actually delivering, which is not always the case in big companies like this. So it's so impressive to me. But you know what? We have been on this call for an hour, and I love you all for sticking it out and being here with me. I'm going to unmute you so we can all say goodnight to each other. But I will let you go because I want you guys to be able to be with your families and get whatever you get done. Unless you have any other questions, comments, I'll let you go.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, guys. Thanks a lot for spending time with me and giving Amy and I and everybody else the lowdown. Appreciate it.
Yeah, it was great.
Next year, you're going to be there with us.
I
Yeah,
hope so.
no doubt.
Yeah.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Have